I mean, based on that statement, let's get moving. Ulrich, you there?
Sounds good.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Loud and clear.
Um, so where our intrepid heroes left off, we pushed the time hard last time. So the the Queen Dusana had Ulrich had just struck what he thought was a fatal blow, and she turned to mist and slunk out of the hall. Um, with the with you all hearing the words in your minds, take her and go. Uh, Freya is perfectly conscious. She is chained to the wall. You guys are surrounded by. There's what, four or so dead hyperboreans in the hallway, and you're all kind of beat up, but you're all alive.
All of
Yeah,
this
I am
over a family
extremely
squabble.
right. I'm extremely wounded. Well, I've taken one trauma and two wounds.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Uh,
What can we do
Freya
about that?
shouts over at you. What are you doing? Free me! She looks at you fiercely.
Well, Maleki is like holding whatever laceration is on her, side, and is bleeding all over the place, and like looks at the other group, and then like slowly nods or like jerks her head in the direction of Freya. Maybe sits
Can
down.
can Miliki's wounds be bound, or is that like a med check?
Yeah, that's more of a just a like a medicine check to see if you can treat the wounds. I mean, it's not like it's more a role playing flavor at this point.
Sure.
Okay. I got pretty good healing, so I can do that after we figure out what's going on here.
Okay.
Looks like I'm 13 for my target number. That's pretty good for healing.
That's really good.
Yeah.
If I attempted healing, you'd probably die.
That's the bright
Reverse
side.
reverse
I'm
effect.
going to fix you. Wake up. So she's on the right side of this map, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
she's over here chained against the wall.
All right. Well, I suppose Odysseus will approach.
All right, yeah,
What are you doing
she's.
hanging around?
Oh, God.
You hang around here often? Sorry.
She looks at one of the dead Hyperboreans and says, "He has a key. Get me out of this."
I will search the indicated dead Hyperborean.
Yep, yep, yep. So you find a small iron key.
Okay.
All right. So as you undo the shackles and release her, she rubs at her wrist for a moment. You know, they're kind of red and a little bit raw. Uh, she uh, she grabs a sword from one of the dead Hyperboreans and says, "We must leave this place. I must get back to my betrothed."
Yes, yes. It is he who sent us. It would be our honor to escort you back. And she like spits a wad of blood on the floor.
Nice. So
Uh, mhm.
Okay.
yeah, she says, then let us be off, and she starts storming right down the hallway, like right past you guys. Strong,
She seems
independent shield maiden. She
trustable.
don't need no man.
Well, she needed one
Yeah,
a
well,
second ago. You know what I'm
yeah, I
saying?
know. I was thinking the same thing.
Anything to loot while we're here in the throne room?
Doesn't really seem to be. The place is pretty bare.
Okay.
Man.
All right. Um, and sort of like walking out of this throne room. The guy that laughed at Malecki, is he on the floor somewhere?
Yeah.
Teabag him. Teabag him.
She takes his
Is he
scalp.
one of the guys that Ulrich split in half?
Oh shit, that's funny.
We'll say he's one of the guys DC has killed.
Okay.
He's still
All
in
right,
one
yeah.
piece.
She takes this dude's scalp.
Ooh, dark.
Yeah, and
I thought you were going to say she pulls out a magic marker and draws a giant penis on his face.
no, this is not suitably Conan enough. I
Yeah,
don't.
that's very true.
Yeah, yeah.
That's very true.
I'm surprised she didn't try and raise him from the dead so she could kill him again.
Hey, that's something
Get up.
Narcosa can do. And
I like the Sharpie idea, though. I think that might work well for Octopus Cthulhu and Nazis. Do they have Sharpies in the 40s, late 30s?
so she like limps out after this woman, and she says, "Thank you for coming for me, boys." And she like winces, and she says, "I'll admit, traveling in your company has captured my interest," and winces even more as she continues to walk out. It's much fun.
You're only saying that because you survived.
Minus a
Let's get going.
few liters of blood, yes.
All right.
All right. So if we go back the way we came, we go up a bunch of steps, right? Because we
Right.
went down.
Right.
Do we see any knuckleheads?
No, doesn't seem to be. It looks like everybody is cleared out or is otherwise asleep or somewhere off somewhere else. Um, as you make it up to the ground floor, Freya looks around at you and says, "Are we on foot or do you have horses?"
We have horses, but they took them. So we need to find the stable and get our horses back.
Yeah, you guys would remember that the horses were led around behind the tower into a
Correct. They
small
went out
little
of
area.
sight, though.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we should go. We're not going to walk out of this place.
Fair enough.
All right. So no one stops you as you guys exit the tower. Uh, Coming around exiting and then going around the outside, the ground dips off into a low area out of sight, and there's a series of shoddy stables there. Um, there's a slightly smoldering fire, and a stable master who's leaning back in a chair up against the stable with his feet up, snoring away.
Okay. Do we see our horses?
Yeah.
Do we see anybody else's horses?
Oh, I'm sure there's a couple. I'm sure there's a couple extras there.
All right. Let's just take our horses and normally I would say for our trouble, let's take all their horses. But on the other hand, any horse we take, we have to feed if it can't graze. I forget what kind of terrain we went through. Anyway,
Rocky and minimal vegetation.
all right. So
I will say that
Decent.
Malecki has a mule as well, uh, in addition to her riding horse. If we need to put this woman in her place.
Bold.
do we have an extra horse? There's obviously a horse for the chick.
Yeah, you can commandeer
so.
one.
Decius inspects his horses for vampire bites. Doesn't trust these people one bit.
Buttercup seems well.
Thank God.
But
I have to burn this whole place to the ground.
that's funny.
Well,
Oh
I,
man, I just realized something.
what's that?
I haven't paid close attention to my character sheet, but I forgot that Ulrich was originally a farmer and that he has some experience and focus in animal husbandry.
Oh, interesting.
I know
That's
it. Anyway,
Well,
so
Malecki, for one, wants to get the hell out of here, I think. Having
yeah.
been attacked by multiple vampires, bullied extensively, and having taken multiple
Bullied
wounds.
extensively.
Well, and we don't know where all the minions are, but if we could get out of here and beat feet, um, and get out of here and put some distance between us and this place, then we can treat Maleki's wounds and stuff.
Yeah, Freya climbs up onto a horse. She probably grabs a blanket and throws it on the back of a horse, and then just climbs right up on top of the horse without a saddle, and looks at the rest of you and says, "Are you coming? What are you waiting for?"
All right, let's
You're gonna
let's
regret
saddle up.
that tomorrow.
All right, saddle up. Let's get the heck out of here.
So
Yeah.
Time's a wasting.
yeah, you all
Daylight's burning.
well, moonlight, I guess. You all
Moonlight.
ride off into the night by the light of the moon. Uh, you you uh, you ride for hours, putting as much distance between yourselves and the tower as you can. Uh, as the uh, as the moon traverses the sky and the sun starts to come up, there this far in the north, it's really not daylight per se. It's more just a gray that lightens as the sun meets the horizon and travels around the edge. It's certainly not the daylight that you're all used to in the south, whether it be Aquilonia or Zamora, what have you. The uh, there's no sign of there's no sign that you're being followed. But as you ride further through Hyperborea towards the border, towards Skullgate, uh, you do see a group of men on horseback on approach,
Coming to or
coming towards you
north.
guys from the Skullgate entrance in the border.
Uh,
Can
any
we uh,
yeah.
can we see any insignia
Um, I mean, one of you can make an
or colors
observation roll, I
even?
guess. There's no standard being flown, so I would just say give me an observation roll, whoever would like to do it.
Who's got the best observation?
That's me. All right. If I can find it on the sheet. Observation.
All right, target number is 14. You had a success, except you had a trauma, which raises the difficulty. So, if this far out, you can't tell who they are.
There's too much blood in my eyes.
uh,
Well, well, we all have eyes. We could try and look.
yeah,
I
someone
mean,
else can
it
roll.
just
Yeah.
all we can do is generate more doom. Complications are doom, right?
Sounds like a problem for next adventure.
Let me see. My observation's not very good. Let's see.
I'd volunteer, but mine is piss poor.
Well, mine's poor too, but I can give it a try. No, mine's really bad. Mine's 7. Come
Yeah,
on,
I mean, we don't know. These guys could be attacking us in a second, so I
or
don't
they
really want
could
to give
be.
them more doom.
They could.
What about Zarkosa? He's probably got a better observation than.
No, I've only got a 9. But don't we have an owl or something with us?
Yeah, Maleki didn't make it, though. Because of her trauma, her difficulty was raised, and she didn't make the roll.
Oh, okay, but the owl can't go up. Do we have a bird with us? No.
Yeah, the owl helps on certain types of rolls,
Oh,
but
I see. It's combined. It's just okay. It's
yeah,
a buff for the observation. Got it.
Ulrich
Or
had no
failed.
successes.
I guess we'll have to get closer.
Should we fly the the banner of Conan so they know?
Well, what
Depends
have we
how
got to
far.
lose?
Although I
You
imagine
know,
they already know who we are.
it,
Yeah.
it, it could be it, it could be an allied group coming in after us, or it could be bad guys. Either way, if
When
they're
they're
bad
coming,
guys,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
oh, they're coming at us from the gate,
Right.
so they could have just passed through the gate.
Are they at a
We
walk,
don't
a
know.
trot, a canter? What's their?
No, they're not at a full gallop, but yeah, they're coming pretty hard.
So they're coming like they mean business.
Yeah.
If they mean us harm, I'll split them from head to crotch, just like everyone else.
I I believe that. She
Well,
says
let's.
as she knocks an arrow.
So are we? Have we drawn up horses? Are we just standing there?
Well, we didn't say we stopped.
Nope.
Yeah.
We're just moseying right at them. Where else do we have to go? I thought it was rocky and there's a path, but we could
Well, we could
hide in
fight
the
our way
rocks.
out.
But
At some point, like how much farther before it's obvious that they're charging us? I'm trying to visualize what's happening because at some point it's obvious they're attacking us.
Right. No,
if we
you're probably a mile away from each other. Spotting
if
each
we
other
can
at the
see,
tops of hills and stuff.
yeah,
Oh,
if
okay.
they
So
can
they're really.
see, if we can see them, they can see us probably.
How many of them are there?
4.
Okay.
Oh,
So should we await them?
Here's your opportunity to go full tilt.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
not sure that that's what they want. You know what I mean?
I know. I know. We're overthinking this. It's
yeah, we're overcomplicating a ham sandwich.
Yeah, I would just wait and see because it's
yeah.
only four of them.
Are we going to stop and let them come to us?
Nah, let's keep going.
All
We
right, we
got to
keep
get out of
going
this
and
place anyway.
yeah, that's true.
All right. So as you guys close the distance, dropping down between these small gullies, going up to the top of the hills, um, uh, Freya actually kicks her horse into a gallop, and announces, "It's Wolf here," and she goes riding faster towards them. Um,
Well, sure. She certainly is eager.
I know, for an arranged marriage,
they
must be something going on there.
So the music comes up as Wolfir and Freya both drop off their horses and meet in an embrace. He's bandaged. He's been wrapped up. His wounds bound. He was wounded badly, and he's obviously still feeling it. He winces, and you can see you can see red stains through his bandages, but he's up and moving. Um, uh, and she says, I knew you would come, my love. And he replies, well, I was wounded. I had to send these heroes after you. And he holds his hand out towards you guys. They are from Conan, king of Aquilonia. We owe him a debt. And she turns back to the four of you and says, however, that debt must be paid. Then she says, but before we leave this place, just in case we may die here, let us take our oaths here to each other right now.
Oh my! Do they jump a broom or what? Hmm.
Um, so they're within the standing there within the sight of Ymir and any other gods that would witness it. One of the Asir with Wolf here has them recite wedding vows. Uh, it doesn't take long. They're not at the ceremonial place, so they're trying to move this along, if that makes sense. But Wolf here, when it's said and done, Wolf here turns to the four of you, turns to Decius and Ulrich specifically, since you two are Aquilonian, and says, "Your king has the support of Wolf here, Njordsen, and Freya. As we continue to unite the Aesir, we will put our swords behind his." Then he looks at you, Maleki, and he says, "And let it be further known that let no man or shield maiden ever call you mixed blood again. You are a seer through and through."
And she stares at him powerfully and like bows her head and is a little misty-eyed. Thank you, my lord.
Did she wipe the blood out of her eyes at least?
Ah, it stings. She can't even hear him. She's too traumatized.
Ulrich asks out loud, is that blood in your eyes or are those tears? He thinks you are not.
And she wipes her face, like the blood off her face, and like flicks dried dirt blood off the horse. And and she looks at you and she says, Ulrich, when will someone make you an honest man?
I don't believe the maiden has been born yet to this realm.
Perhaps not. And I don't know. I think Maleki like feels. You get the sense that like Maleki enjoys like being with you guys now. Like that you've like earned perhaps a permanent member of the party. That um, I don't know. Like she's not saying it, but she's just kind of sticking around.
Feels like one of the guys.
Yeah, one of the guys. Yeah.
Uh, Wolf here,
Um,
go ahead.
I'm just trying to figure out. No, you go ahead.
Okay, so Wolf here, uh, looks around everyone, says, "Let us get back to Asgard."
um, how long of a trek is it? And who has healing?
Maybe Zarkosa.
Sarcosa?
Yep.
Do
Pretty
we
good at.
do we try and help Maleki now, or do we wait till we get back to Asgard? Who else is beat up?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're gonna if we stop to camp after we get through the gate. Maybe we can do that. Doesn't look like we're in danger here. So
All right.
I'm getting the sense this is largely like cosmetic or whatever. Do wounds reset after
No, they do have to be
No.
treated.
Fuck.
They do have to be treated. Otherwise, they carry on.
Gotcha.
But
But
Wolf here looks at Freya and says, if you can manage, let us treat wounds once we make it to the other side of the gate. My clan
What
is amassed and waiting for us."
oh
what
my.
aid could not manage? And she smiles.
All right.
I think at some point she's also going to tell them that we buried their dead, on the way.
Oh yeah, yeah, it makes sense. All right.
Uh, Sort of like on a meta note, you know how like Maleki has her like introduction, I'm like Maleki half-blooded, yada yada, son of whatever. I think she's going to change that to Maleki full-blooded.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it. All right. So, you guys finished the ride back to Asgard through the passes and through Skullgate, and true to Wolfhere's word, uh, when you pass into the other side, there's a huge camp, probably 5 or 6 dozen warriors, men and women, all just waiting for word. Uh, Wolf here says, I'm sure we're safe now. If you'd like to treat your wounds, I will make sure you're resupplied with whatever provisions you need to make it back to the south. And he says, meanwhile, I will pen a message to your King Conan.
We are most grateful. It has been an honor to serve you.
He says, the honor is mine. I owe you my thanks, all of you. And he and Freya go walking off. You get the impression that he's not intending on penning a message at this exact moment in time.
I don't understand. What's happening? Can you describe it in detail so I understand better?
Go knock on his door. Go ask.
Hi, what are you guys doing in here?
You got that message?
Is somebody hurt?
So so in terms of healing, you guys can attempt to treat yourselves. Now, if you fail during our carousing phase, you have the opportunity to just simply pay for the healing you need. So Zarkos is the one with the medicine skill, correct?
Correct. I don't know if it's a skill. Wait, talent. Wait, skill or talent?
It's a skill. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
medicine or healing. Yeah, no, healing it's called.
Yeah, healing. Yeah, exactly. Under intelligence, I believe.
Got it.
Okay, so now that is for healing physical wounds. Trauma use something different. Trauma uses counsel.
Which I also have with a pretty high TN, 12.
Okay. Decius probably does. Decius have counsel as well? Because he's got a pretty high personality, I think.
I don't know. Where's DCS? You're muted.
Oh,
Sure.
shoot, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Thanks, Jim. You know me well.
Yeah.
I'm over here, blah, 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 blah. What? Oh, shit. Yeah, I have a council of 12.
Yeah. So now the next thing is you cannot treat the wounds or traumas of yourself. Okay.
hmm
So
Can't sit and have a drink with yourself.
yeah, it doesn't work, unfortunately. Zarkosa, do you have wounds or trauma?
I do. I only have. Yes, I have 2 wounds and no trauma.
No trauma. So you cannot treat yourself. So either when you guys make it back to Tarantia, you'll have to use a carousing phase to seek out a healer. Or if there's someone else in the party who wants to try to make the roll, they can.
So I do have medicine of 10. Or healing.
I have healing of 10 as well.
Okay.
So the question is, what's the difficulty?
So the difficulty, now this is where it gets a little complex. Every success you roll can heal 1 wound. So if you roll 2 successes, you'll heal 2 wounds. However, in the case of Maleki has a trauma, does she not?
She does.
Yeah, so her difficulty is automatically 2 just to get 1 success because of that until the trauma gets fixed. So
Well, obviously Zarkosa would be the one to try and heal
yeah,
her, right?
which fortunately healing and council rules are mental, and since Sarkosa has no trauma, he doesn't have any difficulty increases for that.
Huh, cool.
So
Excellent.
I
So what's
guess
the downside of, say, Ulrich trying to heal one of Zarkosa's wounds?
there really isn't one. If you do not get a success, it's really not an issue unless you get a complication.
Oh, then I hurt him or something to make
Yeah.
it work?
Well, either I can apply another wound to him, or I can take 2 doom, which, being that we're out of doomy situations, that's not likely to occur.
How about Decius? Decius, what's your healing score? Oh, a target number.
It's terrible. 7.
Oh, all right. Well, let me just give it a try. We got nothing to lose. but some gold later on, right?
That's true. One success. So, and no complications. So, Zarkosa, you can drop one of your wounds.
Excellent.
Um, all right. Well, let's just go from left to right. Decius, do you have wounds or trauma?
Well, I have resolve. I have two X's against my resolve. I don't know what does that mean.
No, that's just you guys can you guys can get back all your vigor and your resolve.
Okay, so
Okay,
no, I
right.
do not. Otherwise,
Oh wow, you came out of it pretty unscathed. You're like impossible to kill between all your parries and your armor and
well,
everything
you almost
else.
did it the first mission.
Yeah,
Came
well,
really close.
we're gonna have to try harder next time. Um,
Yeah.
Oops, I'm getting a call. Sorry, I'll be right back, guys.
go ahead. Maleki, what's your wound and trauma situation?
2 wounds, 1 trauma.
All right. So, Zarkosa, do you want to make the healing roll to see if you can heal any of Maleki's wounds?
Let's go for it.
All right.
Do you have any talents that would help?
2 successes.
Oh, all right. Well, it
Oh,
doesn't
look at
matter.
that.
Took care of that. So, yeah, you can, Maleki, you can drop your wounds.
I feel right as rain, boy. Good work.
And then someone needs to make a council roll to try to solve your trauma.
Well, I can do that too. I'll tell her how pretty she is now.
It all began with my mother 35 years ago.
Oh,
Oh,
one success with a
Complication.
complication.
I just tanked your self confidence.
Yeah, I'm just going to make it wash out. I mean, because the
Okay.
success should make it go away, the complication would add it. So I'm
Okay.
just going to make it wash out. So
Okay.
no luck there. And then Ulrich, what's your situation?
I'm good. I had some resolve hits, no vigor, and no wounds, no traumas.
Hmm. Oh, you guys came out of that pretty well, actually. We're gonna have to. Things are gonna have to get harder. Um, that was too easy. No one has a comment about
Like I
that.
say, secret sucked dry
It
by every
seemed
vampire in 1,000 miles.
That's right.
it. There were a couple times when it seemed pretty hairy to me.
Well, the key was with this particular nemesis. This particular nemesis doesn't doesn't do a lot of damage, but she had a lot of abilities that would stun or knock you guys down, which the key to that was try to take one person out of the fight for a little while so that she could focus on somebody else. But the problem was the person she kept having to focus on was Decius, who's very, very hard to hurt. So anyway, all right. So
But still, if she stunned enough people, I think when I saw her stunning people, I was worried about the other fighters too. So we I just felt it imperative that we didn't want to be in a position where there were fighters left standing with our folks stunned and not unable to move.
right.
That could have been bad. So I wanted to make sure we took care of those guys first. All right.
So you guys spend a few days, maybe a week, convalescing amongst Wolfhere's warriors, and more arrive, including from Freya's clan. It's far from an army, but it's certainly you get 8 or 10 dozen or a full gross of Asir warriors in one place, and it's certainly seems like a crowd no one wants to mess with. Eventually, Wolf here does come to you with a sealed message for Conan, again with his thanks, and he assigns a half dozen warriors to escort you the rest of the way through Asgard back to Samaria, so that you guys can return home. The yeah,
That's good.
we'll uh, we'll travel montage that through Samaria, the Bosonian marches through Gunderland, Ulrich's hometown or home area, and eventually to grand city of Tarantia, the shining jewel of the dreaming west. Uh, Exhausted from your battles and from the road, you cross the Bridge of Kings towards Conan's castle, and you're met by what was his name? You're met by Bob the Black Dragon because I was put on the spot and just had to come up with something. Um, and he he flags you down as you guys are coming up on the palace, and he sees Decius, whom he had most of the interaction with. He holds a hand up in greeting. Sir Decius, is it is good to see your party is returned. You were successful.
Who are we talking to? I just got back.
Oh, Bob the Black Dragon, the guy
Oh,
that.
the guardsman guy,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Sergeant Bob.
yeah.
Excellent. Hail, Bob. So,
Hail, Bob.
Hail, Bob.
If Bob's gonna be a
Hail,
yeah,
Bob.
that's right. Don't do that. Don't do that, please.
It's done.
If Bob's going to be a recurring character, I might have to give him a real Aquilonian name. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one a little bit.
Bobicus.
Bobicus. His wife's name's Lorena. Okay, sorry. That was.
Bad.
Oh, poor Bobicus.
Um. Uh. But anyway, he says you're. He looks your group over. He says it looks as if you had some trouble, but I assume you were successful.
Indeed, we were. We have good news for the king.
He says that's excellent to hear. Allow us to take your horses and enter the palace.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobicus.
As it's so dumb. As So you guys enter the palace, and you head up towards the throne room in the large antechamber outside of Conan's throne room. You are met by a man. Decius, do you have society?
Let me look. Let me look. Society.
Under personality.
Uh, yes. Oh, yes, I do.
Make a
I have.
society check for me.
Okay.
Well, look at that.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. Does anybody else have
Well, I'm not.
society where they could make a single die roll?
By
So,
the way, that was a 15.
Yeah.
My society check. I
Yeah.
have a
Oh,
focus of
jeez.
3, a skill of 3, and
I
so
have
that-
Alright, so
a talent called the Hunt, and basically, because of my status as a falconer, I can use animal handling. Let's see. In cultures where falconry is a sport of nobles, you may substitute animal handling for society when dealing with dealing with other nobles. Yeah.
Interesting. So what does that make your target number?
So animal handling for me is under. Good lord, this
personality.
it's under personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
Okay.
Mine's a 10. Oh, well. Yeah, you're a 10.
All
My
right.
society's an 8. What is, who are we missing? Who else?
Zarkoza.
Zarkosa, what's your society's target number?
Unfortunately, only 10.
Okay, so
I'll have Maleki make the roll because it narratively it makes sense. So Maleki, make a single D20 roll on your animal handling.
Okay. Oh, God, gosh darn.
Well, you had a success, but because your trauma was untreated. Jeez. Okay. Um,
We have momentum we could use for
He
this.
does not like my bird.
No.
And a fortune point, somebody?
I
I
do
don't
have a
know.
single fortune point remaining.
I'm at 0.
You can burn that if you want, just so that the narrative makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, I'll burn
All
it.
right, perfect. So
Just camping?
Malecki, you recognize this man. His name is Chancellor Publius. He's one of Conan's chief advisors. Obviously, you having been here before and actually been contracted by Conan to lead this group, you've probably run across him now and again. He is approaching you guys quickly as if to intercept you. Um,
Oh man, Publius is on his way.
yeah, oh god.
Lord Publius.
Publius.
What's up, Publius?
He is it Publius or Publius? It's got to be Publius. Let's go with Publius. Let's go with
Publius.
Publius. Let's
If
go
we
with
don't like him, we'll
Publius.
call him Publius.
That's right. Publius is
how to make how to make grown ass men into teenage boys.
yeah,
Start in with the Latin names.
yeah, in record time. Um yeah,
You said pube.
oh god, there it is.
Publius. No respect.
So Chancellor Publius is he's a middle-aged man, bald head, kind of kept very short white hair around the side, and a hanging mustache. He's a little thick around the middle. He's
Living large.
yeah, well, um, you
So far, you're
probably
describing me, bro.
well, sorry. You probably know that that he was one of the people instrumental in getting Conan to lead the revolt against King Numidides, and has become one of Conan's chief advisors. As he approaches, he he sees Maleki and he says, uh, "Well met. Uh, you have returned from your trip to the north."
We have, with good tidings.
Says
Lord Wolfgear has pledged his support to the king.
says that's most excellent news. Uh, I will deliver whatever you need to the king. He's currently in a council that he cannot break from.
Of course.
We're happy to await his pleasure, my lord.
He says it could be some time. What else did you discover in the north?
We ran into some Hyperborean trouble. Um, but it was
Hyperboreans
dispatched.
in Asgard.
They came for Freya, Wolfir's betrothed. Had taken her deep into Hyperborea, and we extricated her. Um, it was quite the adventure.
He uh, he uh, he says, "Well, come with me this way," and he leads you through the palace halls to a mid-sized room. Seems to be probably his office, and he he unlocks the door, walks in, and sits down at a large mahogany desk that's covered in all sorts of scrolls and texts and messages. You're sure missives, all sorts of stuff. And he says, "So, tell me about the adventure."
How much detail would you like me to recount in roleplay here versus hand waving?
Oh, you can hand wave. Just tell me what you pass on to him,
Okay.
just to speed it along.
Well, I don't see any need to hide anything from him.
Is this the guy who hired you or something?
Yeah,
Who found
Maleki.
you for...
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Publius would be the guy that probably hired Maleki.
she likes
Okay.
my bird. Okay. Um, yeah. So I'm going to be pretty forthcoming with the details, broad strokes. Went to the wedding. Freya was captured. Tracked her to Hyperborea. Found the council or the castle of. Did we ever get a name for this castle?
We'll talk more about that in a bit.
Okay. Um, and discovered that the denizens had a taste for blood. We are.
He visibly pales at that.
Is this something you've heard of before, Lord Publius?
And he says, only in legend. Most terrifying.
I'm afraid uh, you will not have to. Well, we dispatched two of the three fiends that we encountered. The third flew away, as it were.
He says, I fear you, the four of you might have made yourselves a powerful enemy there.
I suppose we will add them to the list.
that's a that's a great answer. That's a great answer. Um,
We were able to return Freya where she
You're on the
wed.
hit list now, Winger.
um, so a couple quick questions in case the players, not the characters, have forgotten. You also, if you recall, on your way up as you passed near the Pictish wilderness heading into Samaria, you also ran afoul a group of Picts, if you recall, and
Oh, yes.
okay, and they were of different clans.
Okay, yes, we will relay that information. Absolutely. I apologize for forgetting that.
No, that's okay. And then the other thing is that Zarkosa had picked up a bunch of books from Dusana's quarters as well.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
I don't know that that would come to Maleki's mind to
Okay.
reveal
That,
unless.
that's up to Zarkosa to share or not share.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Mm,
So in terms of the picks, uh, his face darkens a little bit. He looks at Ulrich and says that certainly on the frontiers of the realm, we're no stranger to incursions by occasional incursions or raids by Picts, more Bosonia than Gunderland, but it seems strange that Picts of different clans, crocodiles, and even a shark. The sharks come from far off at the coast. For them to have come together to ambush a party of travelers on the road, that seems most strange, most concerning indeed. Something more to look into.
Indeed. They were quick to fall to our blade for what it's worth, but it is scary to think that they would mass.
How many thousands and thousands of them are there out on the coast of the sea,
That is fair. We will leave some
beyond the Black
for
River?
everyone else.
Um, all right. All right. What else to discuss with Publius?
Um, to discuss with him.
Or,
I
or
mean, we were paid up front. Is that correct?
um, you know what? That's a good question. I should have checked on that ahead of time.
Because I
you were
remember
paid.
we got like a few gold, but we were really, scraping for pennies there at the beginning.
I think you got paid. I think you got paid half up front.
Okay.
Yeah. So he would cough up the rest of the money, which would be another 5 gold for each of you.
That would be smart business anyway because you don't have to pay dead men.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right.
So yeah, you should each add 5 more gold to your belongings.
Nice.
Thank you, my lord. It is good doing business with you.
He says, I I'm gratified that uh, Maleki, you were obviously the correct guide. And then he looks at the three of the rest of you, and your your renown in terms of your work during the war against the Nemedians, and then your troubles afterwards, was well deserved. You've served the king in the realm. You've served the king in the realm to a high level of excellence, and we do appreciate it. Spend some time in Tarantia. You look a little worse for wear. Heal yourselves. Uh, be ready in case the king requires more.
She like flicks a coin with her finger and like so it spins and then catches it and she says, "Should there be more of this, you will have more of us."
He says, "How very mercenary."
She laughs.
But as my liege King Conan also was a mercenary many times in his life, I'm sure he understands the need for pay.
Long live King Conan.
Long live the king.
Long live his gold.
Oh damn!
All right, she says, "We will be in town. Should you need to call for us?" And she like puts her arms like one arm around Decius and one arm around Ulrich, or like attempts to, and she says, "Come, boys, let's hit the town."
Oh boy.
We're off, off, off. Fighting together as one.
All right.
Okay,
So,
so
go ahead.
let me ask a question.
Yes.
Um, upkeep.
Yes.
How often do we account for that?
Well,
in
that's
the game?
that's when we do it right now.
Okay.
So, upkeep are the expenses that your characters have to pay just to keep the wine flowing and handle food and stuff like that. So, um, here is the question. Look at your character sheet and look down under where is it? Is down under belongings, and you
Like right
should
next
have a
to the
number of your upkeep. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So, don't use the spend button because I don't know if the spend button works something properly. You should also have somewhere on the character sheet. Oh, I know where it is. It's up on the main, in the center of the character sheet, up towards the top, where your character name is and your basic information. There's a little spot called renown.
Okay.
Okay, so your upkeep is it's equal to your upkeep number, but if you have anything in renown, you can subtract your renown from your upkeep.
Cool.
Oh boy.
So yeah, what that simulates is just the fact that people are getting to know you. You walk into a tavern and someone buys you an ale or something like that, as opposed to you having to spend it yourself, or maybe an innkeeper gives you a couple nights there. So I don't know if any of you. I know Ulrich has one renown, does he not?
One renown
Yeah. Does
and one
anybody else?
standing, whatever that means.
Oh, standing is just it's a rating of social standing. Actually, the higher your standing goes, the higher your upkeep goes too. So,
Ouch.
yeah.
Okay.
Does anybody else
I
have renown?
do not have renown.
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah. You wouldn't being brand new. Decius, no.
Nope. I
And
do not.
and Zarkosa, no.
Okay.
No, none for me.
All right. So just whatever your upkeep is, subtract that from your gold, and please tell me that that didn't send you negative on gold.
Oh,
Nope.
did not. I got quite a bit of gold from looting that that master bedroom.
um. All right. So, um, this is where we enter the carousing phase. Okay. There's a few different things you can do during carousing. Okay. Um, one of them is healing, treating wounds or traumas. So anyone who has any of those outstanding, you're going to have to spend one carousing phase handling that.
Okay.
Um, trade, which basically just means seeking out stuff to buy. Okay, you can spend one phase doing that. You get three. Each character gets three. Um, gambling, which is exactly what it sounds like. You can just say you spend some time and some money doing some gambling, and we're going to make a roll and see if you make money or lose money. Um, and then you can cultivate renown, which cultivating renown, you spend an amount of gold to roll damage dice, and your renown may go up depending on how you roll out. Uh, there is there's a couple other carousing events that you can't do yet because you guys haven't met certain requirements, like receive title. You have to have a renown of 5 to receive a title. Um, and then there is seeking information or rumors or that type of thing. Basically, anything. If you guys just wanted to try to listen around to rumors as to what's going around or what's going on around town, or for example, Zarkosa's got those books that he can't translate. That type of thing. So we'll just, if it's okay with you guys, we can just go left to right or right to left, or if somebody wants to go first, it doesn't matter to me.
There are multiple phases of carousing. Is that
You each get 3 carousing phases, so you
okay?
can do 3 different things.
Gotcha.
You still
So
have a
who's first?
trauma, do you not, Maleki?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're
So
going to spend 1 to heal that to be sure.
yeah, I'm gonna seek out some kind of shaman or something. Is that a roll or what does that look like?
No, it basically just consumes 1 of your 3 carousing phases and costs you 1 gold per wound or trauma you need to heal.
Okay. Yeah, I will go to some local shaman and heal one trauma.
Okay. All right. Do you want me to continue with Maleki, or did we want to bounce around?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay.
Let's.
So Maleki, you've got 2 more carousing phases. I might have. Did I give you guys a carousing activities list? I think I did. Yeah, there it is.
At one time.
Yeah, it's under the handouts called carousing
Yep.
activities.
See it?
Okay, handouts. Well, I'm definitely going to do some trade here. Um, I'm going to trade and try to find a higher quality bow with better range.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about that for a second here. Let me go to equipment. I think that's a wonderful move. Um,
So I'm looking at the guide here. I there are a couple of different bows. They seem to be kind of like foreign make.
yeah. So oh shit on a shingle. I had the page and then I lost it. Um, and if I were smart, I'd open up the PDF and just look at it that way. But I'm not smart. I like to do things the hard way. There we go. So yeah, there's a couple different types of bows. If you're looking for something with a longer range, the longest range bow in the game is the Shemite bow.
Hmm.
And because it is a foreign bow, you would need 2 successes on a society test to find one. Okay.
Okay.
Now, there's also the Basonian bow, which is not as long range, but the Basonian longbow is known as the best bow in all the West. It has the piercing quality, which the Shemite bow does as well, and it does more damage than any of the other bows. The problem with it is that it's extremely expensive and it's extremely hard to find someone who would have one for sale because typically they're crafted very specifically for um, an individual person. So that requires 4 successes on a society roll to pull off.
Okay. So that's not something I think I could even possibly do because my
No,
society is only 8.
well, yeah, the only way you'd have a shot probably is if one of your cohorts wanted to use up one of their carousing phases to help you on the roll. Who has the best society? Is it Serdicius at like a 12?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Let me look here real quick.
So, my thoughts here are, I don't want to eat up anyone else's resources. I have the gold to pay for it, but finding it is going to be tough. Um, I just, if I could at least get a medium range bow, that's my goal because I think what stopped us up last time was I have to be in the same zone to hit anybody. So
I don't know. Zarkosa only has a 10 in society, but I mean, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of carousing. I don't think it's in character, so I'm I'm good for giving up one shot. I mean, it's a 50-50, right, with 10, or actually a little less than 50-50, I
Well, yeah, it depends on what we're going after. What I would probably do is I'd probably allow just one society roll, and then the number of successes would determine what type of bows you can find. You would need four to get a Bosonian longbow. So in this instance, if whoever has the highest society would probably make the two dice roll, and then Maleki would make the single additional roll, the single die additional roll.
well, I mean, it's going to be easier to get a Shemite bow, right?
It would be. I would, like I said, I would let you. I would just let you roll, and then the
Oh,
number of successes would determine what you find.
gotcha.
Um, now unless Decius doesn't. What did we ever determine what Decius's society is?
His is 15.
Oh wow. I don't know if Decius has a carousing phase he would want to give up. That's up to you guys to decide.
Yeah, I don't care if it helps the party. I'm all good with it.
Well, would it help you to have me be able to fire at higher range?
Well, that's sort of what I'm saying. It helps us
Okay.
all, doesn't it?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would buy us, a round or two of damage potentially.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
it's a worthwhile cause for sure.
okay. Okay.
All right. All
So
right.
just should I roll it now or should I?
Yeah, go ahead and roll it now.
All right, let's hope it goes better than
And
last
then
time.
Maleki, you roll one die, and can't you still? You can use your.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. Or what does it say? I can't tell. Does
Uh,
that say 0 or 1?
no,
Success
you had
one.
one success with a complication, which I'm not worried about the complication.
Okay.
Maleki,
So that
you can use your animal handling for this, can't you?
well, it's got to be with nobles. I don't know. Am I going to a
Oh no,
noble?
you're not. You're right. So just make a single society die roll.
All right. Do we have any momentum to use here, or is that
Uh, no, that would be all gone at this point.
okay? All right. All right. Society roll. Here we go. One die.
Yep.
All right. Ugh.
No,
Okay.
no luck.
Okay.
All right. So unfortunately, you do not find a better bow at this time. Um, you have one more carousing phase left.
Okay. Um, I guess I will attempt to cultivate some renown.
Okay, very good. So, um, basically, the way cultivating renown works is you spend gold.
Okay.
Basically, you're going around. The idea is narratively, you're going around to taverns and bars, and you're telling stories about the things you've done, and you're buying people drinks and stuff like that as you tell those stories. So you decide how much gold you want to spend, and you roll one damage die per gold spent. If the total damage rolled is greater than your renown goes up by one. Um, However, every effect you roll decreases the damage by one. So it's just a question. It's a gambling thing. It's a question of how much gold you want to spend and to roll your dice.
Okay. I'm just gonna. I have zero renown, so I'm gonna spend one gold. I think.
Just one, because that
Yeah.
means you need to roll a one or a two for your renown to go up.
All right. I'll spend two gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. And go ahead and spend two gold, and then roll two
Okay.
d6.
2d6. All right.
I need to double check that. All right, so you rolled a five, which is an effect, but you rolled a two, which gets two damage minus the one effect is a one that's higher than your current renown, so your renown goes up one.
Awesome.
All right, so Maleki is done. Um, since we already used one of Decius's phases trying to help Maleki find a bow, I'll just move over to Decius if that's okay.
Thanks,
Sure.
Theseus. By the way.
You got it, baby. Sorry it didn't work out.
That's all good.
Now, Decius, you have no what you call it. You don't have any wounds or traumas to treat, correct?
No,
No,
I'm
so you,
clean.
yeah, you're pretty wide open.
Yep. So I will, yeah, I will cultivate some renown, baby.
Okay. How much?
I'll do what Um,
Spend two
what
gold.
Maleki did, yeah, I'll spend two and roll
All right,
2d6, I guess.
perfect.
All right, here we go.
You rolled a 1 and 6. Let me double check on this because I don't know that I actually am necessarily doing that right. Do 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 do. Oh, okay. Rolling effects can generate negative attention, whatever. It doesn't actually decrease the roll, so either way, it still works. So yeah, that's fine. Your renown goes up by one. I don't feel like dealing with the negative attention right now because I really didn't think that through. So that's fine. Yeah, spend two gold and your renown goes up one, and you have one more carousing phase left.
Um, I don't really need anything else. I guess I'll do it again.
Unless you want to
Um,
hold it and see if anybody else has use of your skills during their carousing phase.
that's a great idea. Let's
Okay.
do that.
You can
Maybe I can
always
help
do it at
somebody.
the end.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Why
Um,
not?
Ulrich or Zarkosa, who wants to go next?
I can go, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be right
I have
back,
no.
guys.
Oh, Ulrich has no wounds or traumas. Um, let's see. There's nothing I really want to trade for. Um, I mean, honestly, if you look at the weapons I have, they've both got vicious. One's got intense. They have good damage. I mean, do you have any observations on that standpoint
Not
from
really.
playing the game?
I
Yeah,
mean, with what your character does, I think he's got about the perfect weapons. I mean, the only thing that
I
could be
do
better
too.
is if he found something really, really, really special.
Well, that's the thing. Ulrich is always keeping his eye out for a special weapon, but so far, not much. All right, so I'm going to try to cultivate renown, but I already have one.
Right, which means you have to roll damage greater than your damage dice would have to total greater than one in terms of damage rolled for your renown to
So
go up.
I think I'll spend 3 gold.
Okay. How much do you have?
12.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So roll 3 dice 6. Ooh, no successes at all. So you spent 3 gold
For nothing.
and everyone
Oh
rolls
man.
their eyes and says, "Yeah, right, okay."
What a tool.
All right, so yeah, drop your gold by 3
They really were vampires, I swear.
and you have 2 carousing phases left.
All right, I'm going to gamble 2 gold.
All right. Um,
I'll say this. So when Maleki looted that master bedroom, I mean the combined gold that she has, she's sitting at like 22 gold at this point. So if you need more or you like more to gamble or renown or whatever, I feel like certainly a share of that is the party's.
Well, I appreciate that. Let's keep that in mind in case, as a party, if on our next adventure we might have to spend some gold on something special.
Okay.
Thanks,
So what
Maleki.
did I say I was going to do? Gamble 2?
yeah, gamble 2. So subtract. Well, just roll 2 dice 6.
Ugh.
All right. So you spent 2 gold on gambling. You made one back.
All right, so I'll lose 1.
Yeah.
All right. It's not been very good so far.
You you have 1 carousing phase left.
Well, honestly, I don't have anything to spend it on.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to. I mean
I'm
that's
not going to.
all right. You can let it go. That's fine. All right.
Wait a minute.
Or
Wait a minute. Can you roll society and try to find me a bow?
Well, I got nothing to lose, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. If you're genuinely not going to use it,
I'm not going to use it, so all right. Odds are small. What Odds are extremely small. I don't know if it's worth doing anything, but
Make the roll. You had a success, but which is pretty
unfortunately,
impressive considering. But all you find is just the normal stuff like what Maleki's already got. Nothing
Uh,
that seems of any interest.
well, thank you for making the attempt.
Um, so Decius is still holding on to one society role, or it's not society, but one carousing phase. Zarkosa.
Yeah, so I had to use one phase to heal,
Okay, you had
and
what, one trauma left to heal, or one wound, or something?
just one wound.
Yeah, so that costs you one gold, and you have two phases left.
Yeah, and so I think I'm gonna try to hear rumors
Okay. Um.
if you're prepared for that.
Yeah. 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 If and you also have just as a reminder, you also have those books in your possession that you
Oh,
can't
okay.
translate.
Well, why don't I let me do this then instead of rumors. Let's see. Did I have to spend gold right to heal for
It's just one gold per wound or trauma.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna spend one of the carousing. I'm gonna try to get that bow for Lucky.
Okay.
Uh,
Man, you guys are the best.
we
S-
we can
So
try.
that would be a society roll,
Hmm.
and uh, I mean Decius could even help if he wanted to. He could roll one d20 on his society if he wanted to use his last carousing phase for that.
Sure.
All right.
Okay, well, let's go for it.
Yeah. So two dice for Zarkosa and one for.
Wait,
Wait.
wait. Should we reverse that? Because my
Well, I don't know. I
society's
just got
higher?
two unskilled successes, so
yeah,
Okay.
go for it. Try and get that third success.
All right. So what am I rolling then?
A single die on society.
A single D20?
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah, let's
click on
do.
society, and when I ask you how many dice, just one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Nice.
One success. So,
So
um, so unfortunately, you cannot find a Bosonian bow, but I will let you find a Shemitish bow. Uh, I will let you find a Shemitish bow or even a crossbow, whichever one he would prefer. Maleki would prefer.
The Shemitish, I think, would be
Okay.
most interesting to her.
All right. So that costs a Shemitish bow. A Shemite bow costs 7 gold.
Okay, so I've got that. I can pay that.
Okay.
I mean, for role playing purposes, how do you think Zarkosa would? What would this look like? Uh, like she's out carousing and establishing renown.
Yeah, and Zarkosa is just kind of skulking around the town, looking at different shops, and seems to have used a little bit of his um, arcane knowledge to look at the shops that may have the best stuff. And it's like, oh, milady might like this. And so he runs over and lets Maleki know what's going on in that one particular shop.
And she's like, I think maybe like a little inebriated at this point, and and she's like, that how that's so kind. And she like takes a step towards the door and she says, uh, Zarkosa, thank you. And she kisses him on the cheek.
Okay, this is getting there weird, Kyle.
And
So
she stumbles out the door and goes and buys that bow.
yeah, Zarkosa it is oh shucks, kicking the dirt on the floor. That's about the extent of his ability to carouse in that sense.
I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you for making that roll, man. All of you. Thank you for. I know that was
Got it.
ate up a lot of carousing. So
Yeah. So you've got the stats for that bow right there in the book, right? The
yeah,
Shemite bow. Yeah. So you
yeah.
can just put that on your character sheet. Um, Piercing one's going to be very helpful because while the damage dice aren't big on that bow, the piercing, if you roll any effects, it helps you get through armor. So that's a very helpful thing. It's
And how many zones?
long range, so the
Okay,
the
good.
hunting bow he can hit a target in the same zone or the next zone over. So this goes a total of 3 zones over.
Wow.
So
Yeah, it's a major upgrade.
yeah, yeah. So he'll be able to pretty much on any battle map I put together, he's going to be able to hit anything, or she, I should say, is going to be able to hit
Oh, that's
anything.
awesome.
Thanks, guys.
At least have a chance of hitting
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it.
And then I think I'll just I'll do like you said, translate the books
yeah.
if I can. I don't know if I have to roll to see if there's any
I would say
success.
you would need to find a. I'd say you need to find somebody who could help you with that.
Okay.
I forgot to recover my loads. Anyway,
Uh,
proceed.
so make a. You will be making a society roll for that.
All right.
And
One success.
One success. So asking around, you find yourself. Yeah, you find yourself at the at the bottom of the steps of old Tarantia's library. It's a gigantic, gigantic edifice. Probably 3 dozen marble steps, kind of arrayed in a clamshell, that lead up to this columned porticoed entrance.
So Zarcosa, this is as exciting and of a carousing experience as going to a strip club for the other guys. I'm just so excited to go in there.
It's you're there. It's certainly not a bustling place like a market or a tavern or something along those lines. It's very quiet. Then the people that are here are clearly sages or just learned individuals. Uh, there's private reading places. There's people handling ancient tomes with gloves, and as you enter, a man in a middle-aged man in a light blue robe kind of glides up to you and says, "May I help you, citizen?"
Well, my liege, I have discovered a number of tomes that I would ask to have help in describing. And
He's
I pull open my satchel and kind of pull out one of the books halfway.
okay. He says, "What language are they in?"
You know, that's a good question. I don't. I guess are they Hyperborean?
Yeah, they're in Hyperborean. That much you knew.
Yeah, I believe they are Hyperborean.
He says, "Oh, most fascinating. Hyperborean, we see very little from that far off land." Um, he says, uh, "Go see uh, my associate, the librarian named Gaius." And he kind of points towards the back of the library. And he says, "If you follow down between rows 3 and 4, take a left, go 4 sets down, and then take another right. You'll find his desk towards the end there."
Oh, okay. One left and three right. What was that?
Yeah, sure. After much wandering amongst old moldy tomes and scrolls and all sorts of stuff, you happen across a man sitting at a desk. He has a manuscript open to his left, and then he has a blank book open in front of him, and he's writing into it with a quill pen. He doesn't seem to be paying any attention to his surroundings.
So Sarkosa comes up to the table and he just stands there waiting patiently, hoping to get noticed.
After a minute or so, the man stops writing, and he just kind of looks up at you, and he says, "Yes."
My liege, I have been referred to you. I have a number of tomes here from Hyperborea, and I wish to see if I can have some help in describing them. They seem most fascinating.
His eyes kind of light up for a moment. They kind of widen and light up for a moment, and he says, "Now that is most fascinating." He takes the book that he's writing in, sets it off to one side, takes a thin piece of silk, places it in his in the book that he was copying from, and closes it and sets it next to it. And he says, "Come on, put it on the table. Let's see what you have."
And because Zarkosa, he's just gobsmacked about all the learning knowledge around him, he opens up the satchel and just places all the books out for the guy to see, even though he doesn't know them.
Yeah. So he takes the first, and he starts to look through it. Um, and This takes some time. He's not reading it, but he's scanning and flipping pages very carefully. But obviously, you've got several. You got like three large tomes here, and he says this is an interesting oddity. Seems to be a bit of a personal journal from a Hyperborean noble. She calls herself a queen. It's looks like it was written 300 or 400 years ago. Talks much about Hyperborean society, the savagery of their court, that type of thing. It's interesting. He sets it to the side, and he takes the next one. And he says, "Let's see what we have here." And as he starts to scan, his eyes start to move across the page very quickly. He's as they widen, and um, he flips a few pages into it further in, and he closes it. He sets it to the side, looks at the tome directly in front of him, or it looks at the tome that was underneath it, the third one. Doesn't even open it. He picks the two books back up, puts them back on the stack, and slides them towards you. And he says, "This is beyond the library. You should seek out a priest."
The heck does that mean?
Yeah. Sarkozy doesn't know how to respond to that, except that he nods, looks down, and collects his books, puts them in a satchel, and backs away from the table and thanks him fiercely, and goes.
He says, "You are most welcome. I would not keep those tomes with you for long. They're most assuredly cursed."
Mm, just like I like him. Well, he got some information he wanted. Good, good. Okay.
All right, gentlemen. Very good. Carousing has ended. So now we're at the final point of today's session, which was right about an hour before Jim has to leave. So that's perfect. Um, Experience. So you you completed the adventure, which is 100 experience. You, I'm certainly awarding the 100 XP for great role playing. I am most definitely awarding 50 XP because no PCs died, which is an unfortunately very real possibility.
So we got that going for us.
That's right. An additional 50 for recovering Dusana's journals, which gets you, wait a minute, hold on, we're up to 300.
Yeah.
50 for attempting to find someone to decipher them and gaining some knowledge for that. And 50 for all the treasure and especially the sword you recovered. So that's 400 XP actually. Yeah,
Oh wow.
you guys made it. You only missed one thing. You only missed one thing, and I'm not going to tell you what that is. So, while you put the 450 on your sheet and consider that for a moment, I'm actually going to run to the head real quick.
450.
Oh, 400. I'm sorry. Correct. 400. 450 was the max. So 400 each.
Okay.
Let's hit a bio break for 3 minutes and come right back.
Sounds good.
Gotcha.
All right. All right, I'm back.
Well, this didn't work right.
What's that?
Well, you click on the XP button, and then this XP tracker pops up. And then it has a date.
I'm back.
Me too.
So I'm trying to see how this works. So huh, there it goes. Okay. All right. I got it. So I click on the XP button. You put in the tracker.
All right, I'm back.
All right.
So, allow me to bore you guys with a tale for a moment.
Please do.
Tale of Low Adventure.
Yeah. So, I adapted this adventure from a novel outline that I don't know if I'll ever get to write because the the rights for Conan in the United States are very murky. Okay, it hasn't gone public domain, even though it's been well over 50 years since Robert Howard's death. They're public domain in the UK. So Conan novels that are being produced right now or not UK, but Europe in the EU, are being published out of Europe. Um, because the Robert Howard Foundation can't do anything about it. But in a in one of the pastiche novels called Conan of Aquilonia, Conan's in his late 50s, and his teenage son got abducted by Hyperboreans, and he goes chasing after them. And he passes by the Tower of Sigtona, okay?
Okay.
And he doesn't go there because that's not where he's headed. He knows where he's headed because of whatever clues. And he passes by the Tower of Sigtona, which he says he knows is ruled by an evil queen who maintains her youth by drinking the blood of young women.
So cool.
Okay. And then the next thing is, and actually this is a backup a little bit. If you read, and Conan of Aquilonia was written by I think Elsprag de Camp, or it was Lynn Carter, one of the two. But if you read Hour of the Dragon, which was Robert E. Howard's only full length Conan novel, at one point he is under a grand ancient pyramid in Luxor, which is the while it's not the capital of Stygia, Chemia is the capital of Stygia. It is the kind of the shall we say the cultural and sorceress capital of Stygia, I guess the best way to put it. And under that pyramid, he runs into a woman known as Princess Akivashi, or the woman who never died. She was a princess of Acheron, and she's thousands of years old. And of course, she's trying to get Conan. She wants to feel Conan's warmth and the the strength of his love and all that. And and she goes to bite him, and he pushes her away, calling her a vampire. So my thought process on all this was, how does Conan know about vampires? Now, at that point, Conan's in his 40s. And then in the second one, which was the first one I mentioned, he's in his mid to late 50s. How does Conan know about vampires? So I outlined a novel wherein Conan is in Zamora, and he's got this chick with him that he's trying to, because of his sense of honor or whatever, he's returning her somewhere, whatever. There's always some chick who's with Conan for whatever reason, right? And they get set upon by Hyperborean slavers who take her, knock him out, leave him for dead. Um, he then finds himself captured by a man from Kitai, who calls himself a oh shit uh uh help me out, Sharif. What was the name of the elephant god in the Elephant of the Tower?
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah, I just read this too.
That's going to
Uh,
take a Google search for me. I can't remember
I
that off
should
the
know it
top of
off
my
the
head.
top of my head, and I don't. I should know it off the top of my head, and I
Let's
don't.
see
I
what
don't know
Google
why.
says. Yeah, I don't know.
um why don't I know
Yog
this?
Kosha?
Yag Kosha, thank you.
That's the internet. I did not remember that myself.
um so he falls in with this monk from Kitai that Conan tries to leave, and this monk stops him. So then he tries to fight the monk, and the monk just disarms him. And the monk is honor bound to return Conan to Kitai because his order, who worships Yog Kosha as a god, because Yog Kosha was a god, um, uh, wants Conan dead because they killed it, because from their perspective, Conan killed their god in Elephant in the Tower. Now everyone who's read the story knows that Yog Kosha was imprisoned by this
Right.
sorcerer. So really, Conan was doing him a kindness while beating the sorcerer at the same time. But that information didn't get filtered to them. Um, Eventually, he convinces this monk on his honor to help him go to the north and recover the woman. And he even makes an honor swear to the monk that once it's done, he'll even go with him back to Katai. Throughout the course of the novel, Conan's trying to convince this priest, this monk, that he didn't do anything wrong, that he was actually, releasing Yog Kosha. And eventually, the monk and Conan go through the Tower of Sigtona and fight Dusana and recover the girl and get her back. And I never came to the conclusion whether or not the monk died in the tower, fighting alongside Conan, or if it ended up being an amicable parting of ways, like he's seen Conan's honor and recognizes that if Conan says this is what happened to Yagkosha, then that's what happened. So, but anyway, I mapped that whole thing out, and I said, you know what? Since I can never necessarily publish this as a novel, let me write it as a Conan adventure instead.
hell yeah.
So anyway, sorry, just had to.
No, no, that's a deep cut. I like it. I mean,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
very cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it also shows exactly how much ridiculous bullshit I know about Robert E. Howard's Conan. So
Well, you know, I love I love gaming, but I really love when people like game about stuff that they love and they have like really niche knowledge about, and like, for you, it's such an effort towards verisimilitude here with Robert Howard, and like maintaining the lore of the setting, and it really feels that way. So, having just
thank you.
like read some of this stuff, so I think it's really nice. I think it's awesome.
I appreciate that. It's
Yeah.
funny because at Tidewater Horror Convention, we ran into a guy, and he bought two of my books. He bought Tendrils in the Dark and he bought Wolves of War. But he said he'd probably hit up my website and start looking at the core novels because when I described them to him, I said those are kind of your old school action adventure sword and sorcery type stuff. And he said, old school. What do you mean by old school? Do you mean like Robert E. Howard? And this guy, he was a nerd of all nerds. There's no question, and felt like there might have been a little like autism spectrum stuff going on there. But he knew his Howard, man. He's probably the only person I've ever met that knew his Robert E. Howard as well as I do. My wife was like, "That is the first time I've ever seen you sell a book because you know about Conan." I'm like, "Well,
Awesome.
so
Cool.
all right,
Okay.
let's get to the XP spends. We can go right to left if you want. Ulrich, you want to go first?
Okay.
Would
So
would you guys mind if I do, if I go first so I can get out of here a little early? I still got to take a shower
sure.
and
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
So
we can do that. Yeah,
Do it.
absolutely,
sure,
man.
appreciate that. Um,
How much
Mine's not
XP
going
do
to be
you have?
complicated. I did look in. I looked at the player's guide you sent, Marty. So I do want to do the, what did they call it? A pact, right? It seemed to be a little out of order on
So
the info.
let's look at this. How much XP do you have?
How much say again?
How much XP do you have? I just awarded 400. Did you have any
Yeah,
left?
so it'll be 400 because it looks like I started at zero. I tried to plus it up here on the character sheet, but it doesn't seem like it's sticking where it
Yeah,
should.
you got to click on the XP button.
Uh huh. I did.
That opens the XP tracker.
Uh huh.
Then you have to go on one of those lines and put in the date and the XP,
Yep.
and it won't update till you put in your spend.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right.
That's interesting.
Let
Okay, so
me.
you can't. It doesn't show unspent XP. Okay, so yeah, so I had 400, which is everything that you. I
Let
didn't have
me.
any left over from last time.
I gotcha. Let me get to. So you're trying to enter into a sorcerer's pact. Is that what you're up to?
That's right. Yeah.
All right. I gotta figure out where that is. I'm
This
using.
sounds awesome. What is this, Jim? Sorcerer's Pact.
Well, the only way to apparently the only way to learn new spells is at my level is to enter in with a pact with another. I don't know if it's going to be a patron. There's two ways you could do it. Apparently, you could either go find a sorcerer to teach you the stuff, which has a downside because if you keep doing that, then eventually people are like, "Well, you're just a forever apprentice. You're not really a sorcerer on your own." Versus entering into a pact with, I think it's another entity, another celestial entity.
It can be a teacher of any kind. So it can be an entity, it can be or a demon, or it can just be a sorcerer.
Oh,
I
it can be with the
Yeah,
sorcerer.
it
Okay.
can be. So I've got a narrative idea as to how I'll make that work. We won't go into it now, but yeah. So pact would run. So pact is two steps from patron, so that would run 400 XP minus. What's your focus in sorcery?
My focus. Well, where would archetype is demonologist, education
No,
is
your sorcery skill under willpower.
under willpower.
Yeah. What's your focus there?
I'm not sure what do you. Well, I get there's discipline in sorcery, right?
Right.
Under
Yeah. The sorcery skill.
yeah,
What's your focus in the skill?
I'm not sure where to look at that.
It should say skill, expertise, focus, and target number.
Uh, oh, you're okay. It's not a word. It's a number. So
Right.
yeah, sorcery is a focus of 4.
Focus of 4. So
Yeah.
that saves you 25 XP times the focus. So that means you can buy pact. It's going to cost you 300 XP.
Okay. Uh, saves me or gives me like.
It saves you 100, so it saves you 25 times 4 off the cost of the talent.
Okay, so wouldn't I be able to afford a 500 XP?
Well, there are no 500 XP talents.
Oh, okay.
Talents they go up to 6 at that point. But the point is, you do have 100 XP of the 400 you just got left over.
Okay.
You definitely need to on the talent list in the middle. There should be an add button on there.
Talents. Yes.
All right, so click add,
Yep.
and then definitely put in the talent name pact
Mm-hmm.
under the skill sorcery, and it's rank 1.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then we now this does hold on, I gotta check one more thing because I think this ups your upkeep as well. Uno momento. Yeah, so there is a side note on this. Your upkeep goes up 2 points as well
Okay.
because you have to basically, as part of your upkeep, you have to appease your patrons.
Got it.
Um,
So upkeep goes up two, so that's up to seven. Oh, yeah, seven.
it's expensive to be a sorcerer.
Yeah,
Um, does the player's guide have the list of spells in it?
it does not.
Okay,
Um,
so
tells me that.
I've got an idea for that we'll handle narratively next time we meet,
Okay.
or next time we play this. So just put in there, just put in the effect that you have a second sorcerer's patron and you get to learn another spell,
Okay. Got it.
and we'll come back to that now. We'll come back to that next time we play Conan. And that does leave you with 100 experience left if you wanted to spend it on anything, or you can just bank it.
I'll bank it.
Okay. All right. So make sure you have all that updated.
You got it.
And all right. Decius. I guess I'm just
All right,
gonna go
fellas,
left to right.
I'm gonna punch out here. So this was a lot of
Okay.
fun. Thank
Okay.
you.
Let's real quick, Jim. Let's plan on unless anybody has anything going on. A week from today, the third, back to Acton Cthulhu.
Yep, sounds good to me.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for playing, Jim.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, guys. It's a great break from life.
See you, Jim.
Have
Yeah.
a good day, buddy.
All right. See ya.
All right. All right. Who wants to go next?
Back to Ulrich.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Back to Ulrich. Okay.
All right. So I have a clarification after our discussion this morning because the email you sent, you said you can increase a skill's expertise score and it's 100. The new score times 100, not
Right.
200. And you said this is an edit from the player guide.
Yes, because the player guide in practice, we just felt like that was way too expensive. It just didn't
Okay.
make sense to us.
All right. So what I'd like to do, since I have 500 XP,
Okay.
because I have a 400 plus the 100 left over I didn't use before.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
If I increase the parry expertise by 1, that would cost 2-1
Two
because
one.
it's 0. That would cost me 100.
Correct.
And then if I increase the focus score to 1, that will cost me 200 more.
Right.
And then if I buy the talent deflection, that will cost me 200. Sorry, cost me 200 minus 25, right?
Correct, because you bought the point of focus in parry. Correct.
So that'll cost me 175, and that puts me at 475.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Absolutely.
right, so
Leaving you
take
with
care of my
25
sheet.
in the bank. Yep.
All right, I'll take care of my sheet.
Okay. Cool. All right. That was easy. All right. Let's see here. All right. Decius or Maleki, who wants to?
If you got
Uh,
to go, Kyle, go ahead. You probably have a client coming up. Go ahead.
no, well, actually, no, we're good on time for a while here, for me. But don't mind if I do. I will. I'm gonna increase discipline, so it's a one. I'd like to increase it to a two, so that's 200.
Okay. Increasing the expertise on it.
The expertise, yeah.
Okay.
And then, how does that work on the sheet? Is that, I mean, I'm noticing there's two columns here. Like the character generator that I had two columns. I assume one for expertise, one for focus.
Right. Yeah,
It,
starting characters, the expertise and focus are always the same number, but as you start to level
oh,
up, they can vary.
they diverge. Okay,
Yeah, you
okay, that
should
makes
you
sense to
should
me.
be able to just click the one and delete it and put in a two.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I was doing it
Yep, yep,
correctly here. Okay.
no problem.
All right, so I'm going to increase to two, given her discipline rolls. That's going to leave her with 200 XP left. I think at this stage, what I'm gonna increase my melee expertise by one, and then I'm gonna bank 100.
Okay. Oh yeah, because your melee is zero.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. Okay, that
All
makes
right.
sense.
Does the expertise go up with, or the focus go up with the expertise?
No, no, you have to buy
No.
it separately.
Okay.
Um, Curious about one thing. That leaves you with how much? 100 left in the bank?
That's right.
Okay. All right. Just from the standpoint of min maxing spends, you don't have any skill with a focus of four, do you?
I don't. I could min max the ranged weapon, but um,
Well, what I was
oh,
thinking was if you had any skill with a focus of four,
right.
you might still be able to buy a talent with that 100 XP you had left over in that skill. But if,
Okay. Yeah.
if you don't, then you can't get there mathematically anyway. So
No,
that's
I don't
fine.
have one.
Okay. All right. Well, that's easy then. Um, are you clear on how to use the XP tracker?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. Um, because it seems a little clunky. Let's see here, and I guess we're on Decius.
Okay. I think I would, excuse me, what happened to my voice?
Nobody knows.
Sorry about that. I think I would like to purchase the Killing Strike um, skill, which happened to be one of the examples in your email.
Oh yeah. Let's see
So I
here.
believe that's a 400 point buy according to your notes.
Correct.
And it's modified by the focus. I have a focus of three in melee. Is that what brings
Yep.
the
Yep.
cost down? So
So
that's
that brings it
75,
down
so
75.
325,
You got it.
if that is correct.
That is absolutely accurate.
Okay, which leaves me 75, and I have 50 in the bank, so 125. And at this point, I don't know what to do with that.
Um, there's not probably, you know, with 125, do you have any what skills do you have with a focus of 3 or greater?
I have a few with a focus of three melee, which is probably my most useful one.
Yeah, so melee, you already have no mercy, blood on steel, and killing strike, obviously. So with 125, you could get deft blade, which would burn the rest of what you have. But when you wield a blade as if it were an extension of your arm, whenever you make a melee attack, any momentum spent or points added to Doom to add bonus d20s, add 2 dice instead of 1. Though the normal limit of 3 bonus dice still applies. So, I mean, if you're ever buying extra dice for your melee attack, that would basically give you a freebie. Um,
Well, I'm always adding momentum because I use blood on steel, which I always use momentum to add vicious.
what else?
Uh,
What other
how would
skills
that
do you have
work?
with a focus of 3 or
Oh,
greater? Just to look at all the possibilities.
sure, 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 sure. I have parry, which is good shit.
Oh, parry. Now you already have. I know you have deflection. What else do you have? And do you have
I
any other
have
parry talents?
I thought I did, but I guess I don't. That's the only one I officially have.
So you could get riposte, riposte. I've never been sure how to pronounce that. The instant after an attack is the moment when the attacker is most vulnerable. After successfully making a defend reaction using the parry skill, meaning when you successfully parry an attack, you may immediately pay one doom to make a melee attack against the target you just against the foe you just parried.
I mean, that's a good, but I don't like that Doom thing. I think I'd
No,
rather.
you guys get so worried about the doom. Um, but it something to keep in mind about it is a cheaper way to make adding one doom to make an attack on a successful parry is a much cheaper way than taking a second action because taking a second action in the turn costs two momentum. So something to keep in mind. What else do you have that's high
Yes,
focus?
so Resistance, which I have yet to
Resistance.
use at all.
So
I don't know.
the first talent in resistance is called hardy. Whenever you make a resistance test, you may re-roll any dice that did not generate a success on the initial roll, but you must accept the new roll. So I mean, man, you have a lot of personality skills with three or
I
better.
was just getting to that, yeah.
Holy shit on
Command
a
is a
shingle.
skill I haven't used yet, but that's probably bad playing.
Um,
Um, Society gets used a lot. That's a three. Persuade gets used a lot. That's a three.
do you have
But
any persuade or society talents already?
um, I have strong arm tactics and force of presence.
Oh, um, yeah, you should consider. Though you do a lot of melee damage, you should consider using that now and again, because that's a good mental attack.
Well,
Uh,
that's the thing. Like he's so good in melee that I, you know what I mean? Like
oh, I get it.
unless I met with some enemy that's like impenetrable to my melee.
You mean like you? Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
a little sideways about that.
Then I'll blue steel him to death, you know?
That's right. You did say society, and that you guys do use that every time you're looking for something.
Seems like it.
You don't have any society talents yet, do you?
I don't believe I do, no.
No. So the first one is called a modicum of comfort. You have a legacy of wealth and substantial funds available to you. You can leverage old debts into sustaining you. Reduce your upkeep by one to a minimum of one.
Hmm.
Um, and then
Yeah, I don't know.
there's future obviously future talents where that's concerned. Um,
I mean, that riposte ability is probably the best so far, I think.
oh, this is cool. Looking at the society talents for a second, after modicum of comfort, you can one of the ones you can move to is called reputation. You have gained something of a reputation and are often recognized by friends and foes alike. Each rank of reputation, and you can take up to three, increases your renown by one. That's actually really kind of cool because it allows you to
Hmm.
raise your renown without risking gold. Of course, you're burning talents to do it, so I mean, whatever. But anyway, all right, sorry. Um, yeah, I mean, you could do repost if you wanted, or you can bank the 125. You don't have to spend it.
Yeah, perhaps I'll just bank it.
Okay, all right, well that's fine. Yeah, just adjust your XP tracker so that it's showing you got the 125, all that, and that's yeah, that's fine. Um, let's see here. Except I'm looking at Sarkosis XP tracker. It's not calculating right.
Yeah, mine wasn't calculating right either. Right after I said I knew how it worked, it cocked up.
Did we really play this game the first time in 2022?
Yeah, yeah,
Damn.
yeah, yeah. This is weird. I'm looking at Jim's XP tracker. It's got the 300 that he originally gained in the first adventure. He spent 300 of it, which put him at zero, right? And then he just gained 400 XP, and spent 300 on his talent, and it says he has no XP left. He should have
Yeah,
100 X.
mine's at like negative 300 for some reason.
He should have 100 XP left over, but it's not adding the. It's not adding what he gained either. Something's weird with this thing. I don't understand what's going on here. Can I modify it by hand? No. Can't modify it by hand. I don't want to forget about it because otherwise, you know what I mean? Otherwise, we just won't remember, period. It's
Is it
just,
supposed to auto? What am I trying to say? Auto justify itself because none of these numbers are changing.
It must just be an error with the sheet.
yeah, which. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I just got it to take on gyms.
Okay.
Once you type everything in, click the modify button.
Yeah, I did. And then you click done, but still nothing happens.
Here, let me look at it.
Very weird.
No, you're right. It's not working on yours either. All right, hold on. Let me do this. There we go. I fixed it on yours. So here's what I did, and this is really obnoxious.
You have to add a blank line.
Add a blank line. Yeah.
Weird.
Huh.
Oh, you probably watched me do that, didn't you?
I watched you do it. Yeah, while you were doing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Add a blank line before or after your.
Here,
Just
Make a blank entry at the end.
Okay.
Although his has the date, but it's blank.
Here it goes.
Oh, we have to reset our fortune points. What do we get again? Two.
oh, well, see, and it didn't do it on Maleki. There it goes. There it
Oh,
goes.
interesting.
That's weird.
That's strange.
Oh, no, everybody goes back up to 3.
Three. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And I'll put that in Zarkosa's sheet too. Um, 3 fortune points. All right. Conan the accounting is done.
Cool. 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 Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So I this campaign is meant to be a total of 8 adventures. I have the
Okay.
next 5 mapped out. I've got them outlined, but I don't have them physically on paper with encounters and maps and all that stuff. So that'll be something I work on. Obviously I want to focus mostly on Actung Cthulhu, but I feel like this is a really fun aside here or there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I have no problems alternating or whatever as needed with your tastes. So
I
I'm
just
down for
You
whatever.
know what I you know what I like about this Modiphius system? Because it's the same one we use in Octung Cthulhu, right?
yeah, basically slightly modified, but yeah, it's basically the same.
I like being I like being a hero that does heroic feats.
Oh yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both of these
You know?
games really do lean into the pulp.
Yeah. So Ulrich splitting people straight down the middle, two halves fall left and right. And and Henry Baker or Heinrich Becker, depending on which side of the fence. Um, him going in alone and getting out of that predicament was fun.
Oh yeah,
That
Slim
was really
pulling
fun.
out a machine gun and mowing guys down, and just uh,
That was awesome.
you know,
I do miss Slim, I will say.
those the characters in that game are so colorful. Colorful.
There
You
is something
guys,
magical about our group in that game. It's just perfect.
it really is. I particularly adore each and every character. They're all so well. They've really come together really well in terms of their mannerisms and what they say and what they do and what they're good at. Everybody gets an opportunity to do something really cool. It's yeah, I really love that group. It's fantastic. And I think part of it's the game system, the way it's designed, but I think a lot of it is you guys too. You guys have put together some really cool characters.
Well, thank you.
So, um, all right. Well, kind of a short one today, but we accomplished what we set out to accomplish. Um,
Okay.
I really appreciate you guys coming in and us being able to move through the accounting side of it fairly quickly.
Yeah,
Well,
totally. Thank you for facilitating, and we're back next week. Taking a train to, is it Egypt?
Yeah, you're going to Egypt.
All right.
Yeah, that's
What do you
oh
see
man,
as our like switching? Like we're gonna
boat
do
ride.
one, and then what? Like go back and forth. Is that what's
possibly that's kind of where my head's at, I think. But Egypt, from what I can tell, I don't think Egypt is going to be. It's certainly not going to be as long as Vienna, and I'm not even sure it's going to be as long as Rome.
You say that.
Well, yeah, I underestimate you sometimes. Um, but we'll see. We'll see how long Egypt takes. If it only takes 2 or 3 sessions, we might play one more after that.
Okay.
Um, we'll go from there. I have to find the time to actually write out these Conan adventures, at least enough so they're playable. Which combined with everything else I'm doing, I've got tons of free time. Um,
that?
but this game's a little bit of a labor of love for me too, so I'll probably find the time to do it. Um, I'm looking at this shelf of Actung Cthulhu stuff that I've got, and I'm literally looking at 9 campaign books, and we're on the first one, and we're not even halfway through the first one. And I'm looking at some of these. Some of these are so cool, like the D-Day one and the Battle of the Bulge one. They're so cool. They're really nasty at the same time, but they're really cool.
Man, I
So
can't wait.
Yeah, me neither.
That sounds amazing.
yeah, it'll
All
be.
of this sounds amazing. I sort of feel like it's Christmas. We've got Conan, we've got Octung. Like this is fucking good shit, man.
Yeah, it is, and at some point, we got to play a little Alien too. Um,
Yeah, you still thinking about doing that Destroyer of Worlds thing?
I'd like to do Destroyer of Worlds, and then I would like to play a few missions of the Colonial Marine campaign, because that'll give me and Thermo closure on a campaign we started and couldn't finish.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Um, so I've got some really cool ideas for that. The problem is, Destroyer of Worlds. No one finishes that game in under 12 hours. It is legitimately, for the vast majority of groups, an 18 to 24 hour campaign or game. It's technically not a campaign because it's just one big scenario, but it's a 3 act scenario that runs 18 to 24 hours of playtime. I mean, it's no joke. It's serious. Um, so it's quite a commitment to undertake that. And the other thing is, with the four of you guys, Thermo's played it already, and I have a way to integrate him so it won't spoil anything. But that gives three of you guys playing the main cast. I really wish we had one or two other people. So I'm not sure how to work that out. I can certainly put some feelers out on social media and see if we can find someone. We just have a weird play time. I don't know if you guys know anybody else who is available at this time frame.
Well, I can ask around. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be best if we had like a recommendation from somebody that we know, because you
Right.
never know. We got so lucky with the internet in this group. It's
Oh,
unbelievable.
no doubt, no doubt. And Jim was really the linchpin. Jim and Bob were the two originals, combined with a young guy that was out of like Iowa, that went by the name Bumblebee online, and he played a few games with us, and he was cool, but he had work or something, and that was that. And of course we lost Bob. Um, but
There was
uh,
Andy too, wasn't there a guy
there,
named
yes,
Andy? Yeah.
Andy did not. I don't think Andy played in the first original game. He might have been the first one. He might have done was Rule of Robots. Andy's great, and I'd love to have Andy back, but he works daytime. It just,
Oh, I
it's
see.
just not. At the time when he played the first few games with us, at the time he was unemployed, so he had the time.
Mhm.
So, but no, Andy's a great player. I'd love to have Andy back if his schedule permitted.
My friend
So,
Al is a really good-natured guy. He'd be fun, but I just don't know. He works nights, but I think his schedule's changing to days, so I don't know that it would work even if he could, like after shift,
yeah,
come in for a game. I don't know how much longer he's going to have the opportunity, but I'll talk to him about it.
that's fine. That's fine. We're probably a little ways away from that. From looking to do that anyway. So, but yeah, you can mention it and see where it goes from there.
Sharif, one possibility, and I don't know how what this would look like is Natalie potentially.
I was just thinking about
Yeah.
Natalie. Just right now, I was just totally thinking about her. I wonder if she has a schedule like Kyle's.
Well, she
Like,
works here, so
yeah, I knew
anything.
that too. And I was just
Yeah.
thinking maybe she doesn't start her client rotation until like around when you do. Maybe she could play. She's fantastic. I mean, she's a great player
Yeah,
and
she's like a
really nice person.
VIP in my D&D campaign for sure. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I'll run it by her.
All right.
she would be a super addition.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, and we've got a good group with four in Acton Cthulhu, but I don't think a fifth would cause us much difficulty. The hardest part would just be a session zero making a character. So,
Yeah, yeah. And I'm guessing that she probably would say no just from the amount of other games and stuff we play. But um, I'll run it by her.
okay, that's cool.
We'll have to beg her appropriately, bribe her. What would it
All right,
take?
leave it to me.
What would it take?
What would it take? What is she like?
Oh, it won't take much. I'll see what I can do.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna hop off here and get some lunch and get to work on some other stuff.
Cool.
Sounds
Thank
good.
Okay,
you.
next week.
Thanks for everything, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thanks a
See you
lot.
Looking
next week.
forward to next week.
It's gonna be great. All right,
Bye, guys.
All
later.
right,
Later.
later.